Here's why I started reading again. If you're like me, you're someone who also, during the school time, kind of lost his love for reading. When we're in elementary school, I remember being so excited for the book fair and just, with the scholastic book fairs, seeing all the different books that are on display and just really excited overall. I mean, think about it. Like, you would make a whole entire day over just looking at books, and then we have separate reading time, and you could read whatever books you want. There were not even assigned readings, but there was more so just a reading log list that just read. You just have to read this many hours. And I think that was the beginning of the end of when a lot of people in this day and age stopped loving to read, is when the education system penalized people for not wanting to read. And this created some sort of dynamic where it's almost like a parent-kid figure, right? Where if a parent told you to do something, you're much less likely to actually, as teenagers, we're very rebellious. So with the school system telling us, hey, well, you guys need to read, well, guess what? As these rebellious teenagers, including myself, I don't want to read. I have no interest in it. I want to do other stuff because, you're telling me to do this. I don't want to do it. And so as I got older, I started to realize especially during my college time is when I started picking up books again, like genuinely just purely out of interest of reading books. I think it came down to me looking to seek more information. Now, it seems pretty obvious with what a book realistically is, right? It's just a vehicle in which you're able to transcribe messages and information so that other people can learn about it as well. School really killed that love for it. And so what I had done specifically in college was starting to learn how to read so I could actually learn. It sounds crazy because that's the whole objective of reading based on what school wants you to do. But if you realistically really look at where we are as a society, we're not reading anymore. So why I started reading again is because I remember one of the first books I read again was the Harvard Business Review books, where it's resilience, authentic leadership, empathy, stuff like that. And I realized that when I applied these concepts, things were going my way. I saw in an interview, or I saw in a YouTube video with Patrick Bet-David where he was talking about different types of mentors. And when you're at the 0 to 10,000 stage, the type of mentor that you basically could best learn from are the people who are already dead, who've already done it. Yes, you might have mentors that are already currently alive. You might have a parent or some sort of uncle or a teacher or a professor, or, just have to have some friend who can actually help you out. But mass majority of entrepreneurs realistically don't have a lot of access to mentors and a lack of capital to get those mentors. If you want to get supposedly Mark Cuban as your mentor, it's going to cost you a lot of money, either just be financially or just value skill set wise. Where you are the chessboard right now, you don't have much of anything. So what books allowed me to do is it allowed me to elevate myself and my skill sets at a low capital cost, in which I can 10x my threshold of value in comparison to the marketplace. And you can learn so much from what other people have done, right? Like I could speak right now, like this book convinced them in 90 seconds. I'm in sales. But realistically, not even in corporate sales, just learning how to communicate with people, how to get people to like you. That's the whole purpose of what life is. With those Harvard Business Review books, empathy, authentic leadership, resilience, storytelling, I was really learning how to develop my skill sets. And when I applied it, I noticed a positive reaction. Now, I'll use an example with girls, right? I noticed that when I applied concepts of empathy when I was on first date with girls, mirroring them, not, fully listening to people, not interrupting them, you start to realize that to gain someone's trust really quick, you need a lot of empathy. And I wouldn't have known that unless I read. So I'm starting to read again now and force myself to read. And it's not even becoming like a force myself, even though sometimes I'm very busy. What it is it teaches me so many things during the day I wouldn't have an opportunity to learn just based on daily basic acts. Right? And so one thing that I think reading specifically does that's really, really beneficial, it keeps you in a growth mindset. I think a lot of times when we're an adolescent or a college age kid, we tend to believe that we know a lot, or we know everything, or we know enough about a certain concept. When realistically, when there's like a peak and trough of uninformed optimism, then it's informed pessimism, and then or uninformed pessimism, the valley of despair, and then informed pessimism, and then informed optimism. During that trough cycle, a lot of people, they start off with uninformed optimism, and when they start learning about concepts or doing something, they tend to give it very fast. And the way to really break through that bottleneck is risky either getting mentorship through people, books, or experience. That's all you basically can do. And so if you're already getting help from professors and you're getting help from people around you or actual business mentor, and you're doing the things and experiences, you should start reading too. I'm not saying it'll make you a 10x rich, but what it'll do, it will put you in a position on the chessboard to get that. Because at the end of the day, you can always read as many books as you want, but action experience is the most beneficial thing. But this, in my opinion, is one of the most missing pieces in today's society of what adolescent kids, including even people my age or even older than me, are missing to fully elevate and grow themselves. So start reading more, and I guarantee you it'll really, really change your life.